children's shows. Who is this for? Andor was phenomenal. Yes, Andor was perfection. That is different. That I will agree with on every level. Andor is fucking amazing. Andor was amazing, and it had, like, no lightsabers, no force users, no space fuckery. It was boots on the ground, gritty as hell, just what it was. You know, it was really good. Pray they do more shit like Andor, or at least have more mature writing. Because, like, people love Star Wars, but at the same time, I need to be believed. Like, you need to sell me on what you're showing me. Half the shit in Book of Boba Fett, illogical. Obi-Wan, illogical. What was that other shit show? Mandalorian Season 3? Like, at that point, it was just made for kids. Like, it was garbage. Episodes made no sense. You went nowhere. You went in circles. Acting, directing was fucking boring. Well, Disney, are you surprised? I mean, what about Andor, then? Andor was Disney. It's crazy to think that you take some of the most iconic characters in Star Wars and give them their own shows, yet you take someone like Andor, a fucking literal nobody, and yet he has the better show. How? How do you make Obi-Wan less exciting than Andor? Boba Fett less exciting than Andor? Like, my God. Weird. By doing it on purpose. I mean, it was a clear intent to make these characters more relatable. But, like, what if I don't want to relate to Boba Fett? What if I just think he's a badass dude who will do anything for money? You know, he's got some morals and shit, but, like, I don't want to relate to these people sometimes, you know? Like, the fuck? Well, they didn't make Obi-Wan more relatable. I mean, for Boba Fett, though, they definitely grounded him in, like, a retirement home, you know? That's a damn fact. It's like, look, kids, this is what happens in 20 years. Well, not 20 years, about 40 years. He is a cold-blooded killer who worked for the Empire. If only they stuck with that, because, like, clearly he's not made out to be that way. Cold-blooded killer? The dude helps a bunch of, like, teenagers get water from a guy who doesn't want to sell it to him too cheap. Like, okay. And he talks way too much. Like, people fell in love with Boba Fett because he was so mysterious and, like, had a badass look. And giving him that type of personality in a show where it's like, you have someone else to talk for you, but you're talking too much. Like, even Tamora Morrison's like, dude, I talk way too much in this show. I need to shut the fuck up. Let Ming-Na Wen talk for me, right? Like, in the comics, great, he says a few words, he does some stuff, but that's the comics. You know, Boba Fett was never really a man of too many, things. He was just a mysterious bounty hunter who went to track down Han Solo, and that's what he was. You know, of course, expand on the backstory and everything, and give him a little bit more flair, but kind of just change the character too much. I think it's because I don't know. They just wanted to make it more relatable. That's all I can think of, to be honest. The Mountain from Game of Thrones did it well. Yeah, but he doesn't make them millions of dollars. The only thing I will say that was made for kids and to make money that actually is good is Baby Yoda. Unironically, I think Baby Yoda worked really well. I have no complaints about the baby. I have complaints about Mando, but Baby Yoda is what it is. Mando turned into some weird fucking culto. I'm good, man. Better Call Saul did the impossible be better than the original show? That's a bit of a stretch. I don't know if I'd agree to that, but like I can understand your reasoning. I've seen both shows and they're both phenomenal. Well, yeah, what they did to Luke is horrible. How about Han Solo? How about fucking Leia? How about any of these people? Any of the OGs? I mean, Chewie's still alive. Great. The rest of them, all dead. And I guess to be fair, you know, when you have a guy in a costume, you can kind of replace him. Like, to keep bringing out more stuff, but like, they never even gave them a scene together. Like, the heroes of the original trilogy didn't even get screen time together. Which is strange. Now, Luke was the worst for sure. Absolutely, Luke was the worst. Yeah, they ruined Luke Skywalker 100% because they had to make Rey look like the stronger individual. Rey was the stronger one. Rey's not gonna go down the path of Luke. She's not gonna give up. She's strong and independent. She could do anything. Watch how this man fails. What a man. I mean, I hope they do better for Rey in the new movie that's coming out. I probably won't see it, but like, it's basically take Luke Skywalker, make him a woman, and retell the story. That's kind of it. And make her better than Luke, because she won't give up. Like, okay. Okay, bro. Like, what, brother? Yeah, there's supposedly a new Rey movie. They even got John Boyega back, who actually had the most robbed role of the entire movie. A rogue stormtrooper who could have been like a Jedi and all this other shit was thrown to the side to be a nobody. Like, come on. That shit had the most potential to be something cool and unique, but not in Star Wars. The Luke and the Mandalorian is fine. Oh yeah, for sure. Do you think current movie meta is to put women in power? Well, I will say this. The new Snow White, I don't know if you've seen interviews with the leading actress, but she talks a lot of, talks a lot of stuff, man. I don't know. You go on Twitter, go anywhere, go on YouTube. Watch interviews from the latest Snow White actress. Holy shit. This woman does not like men. And they don't... Hollywood doesn't seem to like fantasy dwarves either. Apparently because it's too, it's too offensive to real dwarves. Which is clearly what the dwarves of Snow White are based on, is people with dwarfism. Clearly. 100% factual. For sure. No! Hi ho, we're midgets, don't you know? Yeah, that's so strange. I mean, all I'm saying is, like, bro, you can't, no one's gonna sit here and defend Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Get real. What a shit joke. That movie is just, you know what's crazy though, is it's gonna make money. It's gonna make so much money, it doesn't matter. It's gonna make so much money. Say what you will about any Disney movie, but it probably will make 3 times what it's worth. No, it probably will. Probably will. I'm just pissed off that they didn't put dwarves in the movie. They thought it was too offensive, so they put 7 normal-sized people. Sorry, 6. They even made some of the dwarves women for literally no reason whatsoever. Like, it's not even the original. It has nothing to do with the original anymore. Well, I can't even call them dwarves because they're not dwarves. It's just 7 people. Snow White and the 7 people. That's what it is. That's all it is. I grew up with Snow White. The dwarves were awesome. Not in today's times. Just weird, man. That triggered me so hard. It's not making them dwarves. Like, if you at least make them a female dwarf. Make it a female dwarf if you're gonna make dwarves. But instead they just made everyone normal-sized Joe Blows wearing, like, festive clothing. I don't understand anything. The dwarves were the movie in Snow White is so I don't know, bro. They're no longer dwarves. Be quiet. You can't say that. They're not dwarves. Fuck fantasy dwarves. All my homies think they're real people. Woke Disney is worse than Trump being president? Worse than Trump being president? I don't know if you've seen Sleepy Joe lately. Look, I'm Canadian. I don't include myself in U.S. politics, but, like, bro, Biden ain't looking too strong right now. I don't know. I'm Canadian. I don't really concern myself with U.S. politics. My grandparents, well, my grandfather and my uncle love U.S. politics. We used to live in the U.S., supposedly. They're big Trump fans. My uncle's the type of guy to literally go on Twitter and post those, like, Trump with fucking super jacked muscles, with, like, eagle wings sprouting out of his back, and he's got, like, double machine guns in his hand flying around. Like, that says, "For America #1." Yeah. They unironically repost that kind of shit. Well, yeah, I know, but... Again, I'm not into that stuff. I'll speak my piece on my childhood memories being ruined, but, like... I don't know, I don't care about politics. But you know what I do say about this? Here's the thing. Listen to me now. We can agree that when Disney does a remake, it's just some weird abomination of the original, correct? But it doesn't replace the original. Whatever they want to do right now doesn't taint the original. It just uses its name to make money and then mutates it into whatever the hell we have today. That's what it does. So there's that. Because what you could say is, you know, it kind of does. I don't think it does. How does it taint the OG? It's not like they're going back into the original and being like, oh my god, these dwarves are just too offensive. We gotta change them. But it will, because in the future, the next generation of kids will learn from the tainted version. Well, that's just failed parenting. I don't know if your parents are sensible people or not, but there ain't no way they're showing me that new shit. If I was a parent, I would never show my kids that. I'd be like, listen, you want to watch something that's like what I grew up with? Take a look at this. If you don't like it, that's fine, but like, you know, your old man watched this when he was a kid. It's kind of probably just straight up better. But I mean, a lot of studios do just use the name of something to make money. Like, yeah, for sure. I mean, again, you could talk about the Scooby-Doo show, right? The Velma, whatever fucking abomination, like, universally hated pile of dog shit. Probably worse than anything Disney will ever put out in their entire life. Like, that was just taking the corpse of Scooby-Doo after he's been laid to rest for 50 years and puppeteering that thing like a goddamn ventriloquist doll. Right? Like, this is the rotting, dead corpse of poor Scooby being worked again for money. That's what that show was. Of course, he wasn't even in the show, so I can't really say that. But what an absolute mess. What can we do? Well, you can't do anything. I don't really... I mean, look, if I grew up with something, I will have an opinion about it if it's being remade. You know, if I have no affiliation to Scooby-Doo, and I don't even know who the fuck Scooby-Doo is, of course you're not going to have any words, but as someone who grew up with the Mystery Gang and the movies and the TV, you know, shows coming on every morning and whatnot, like, yeah, you know, I'll speak my piece. Same thing with Snow White. Same thing with everything else they're doing. If I grew up with it, I'll say something. It's just an opinion anyways. Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. Yeah, good movie. So you didn't... I didn't grow up with, like... Well, I'm talking anime. I don't know, the Japanese stuff. Well, kids were watching, like, I don't know, DBZ. I was watching G.I. Joe. That's just what I was into. But more so the movie. I didn't grow up, guys, I didn't grow up with anime. I didn't grow up with DBZ and all this other shit. I'm 27. It just was never my thing. Dude, everyone has different childhoods, okay? Did you watch Bakugan? No, I played Bakugan. I never watched the show, though. See, the reason I feel like I associate more with an age that I wasn't a part of, like the 80s and 90s, I was surrounded by stuff like that, and I was born in 96, right? When I was growing up, stepdads, movies around me, everything was just 80s, 90s. So that's all I would watch. That's what I was into. You know? I was like, you know, early 2000s stuff, sure, same thing, but it's just what I used to watch, man. That's what I had. '96 gang. I prefer the hand puppet shows with the shadows. Okay, bro. I don't know about those times. I think they were, I don't know about that. It's not to say that I can't like things today. It's just, if I grew up liking certain things, that's what I'm more inclined to like than what comes out today, you know? If a kid is grown in, I don't know, 2025, 2030, whatever, right? Like, just imagine the shit they're going to be into. The only way to get exposed to stuff from the 90s or 80s is if someone shows them. Otherwise, they're never going to go back and see that stuff, right? Are you afraid of the dark? Yep. Isn't that the intro was always them running around a campfire and then they sat down and they started talking about scary stories? That's like what, early 2000s? Goosebumps was legit. Yep. I mean, there are people, look, there's people who grew up in the 80s and the 70s and all this shit, and they'll be like, man, I used to chew gum for fun. Man, I used to, like, walk around the block for fun. But, you know, whatever you find enjoyable, man.
You've work to do. Get on it.
She's dead. Freedom, get off your ass. Happiness is something good. How many people who have even seen a League stream can say they've felt happiness? Listen, kids' attention spans are fucked up. I'm gonna say this, and this might be a hot take, but this is my opinion. Oppenheimer was so fucking boring. I'm sorry, but I saw that movie, and I'm like, man, I don't even think I'm one of those kids who has to have something in front of them 24/7, but I thought Oppenheimer was straight up boring. I thought, for what it was, they clearly cared about what they were making. Like, Christopher Nolan really loved what he was doing, right? That's not even a question. That's not even a thought. But the movie wasn't for me. When someone said it's 3 hours of talking, they literally weren't wrong. It's 3 hours of talking. Like, the last act was great, and when the bomb went off, like, okay, great, sure, I loved it. But, oh my god. Like, the most exciting thing for me was eating the popcorn and getting fatter. Yeah, no, but that's all I'm saying. The movie was very well done. You could see that they loved the content and what they were doing, but the movie wasn't for me. I just did not like Oppenheimer. If I'm gonna rate it from viewability versus production and caring about the content, the viewability is a 4, and the filmmaking and everything, I mean, you're looking at 8, 9, right? It's 3 hours of speaking with sex scenes and then a bomb.